Hello students, welcome to online course of Mechanical Measurement and Metrology. Myself Abhishek Trivedi from Mechanical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. We are discussing mechanical system and basic concept of measurement methods. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the basic requirement of the measurement, the core concept of the measurement, significance of the measurement, and then generalized measurement system. We have classified the generalized measurement system in the three different stages. The first one, that is sensing stage or input stage. The second, that is the intermediate stage, and the third one, that is the output or the termination stage. Today we are going to discuss the static characteristics of the measuring instrument. What is the basic criteria or what is the basic parameter that we have to check while taking the, or we can say while selecting the instrument for the measurement. The concept says that whatever the measurement is performed, or we can say whatever the procedure is followed for the measuring setup or for the with using the measuring instrument, some sort of characteristics are required to be performed, and those particular characteristics will help you to improvise your measuring setup or to improvise your measuring methods. The first are basic characteristics of the measurement, that is the accuracy. We have already discussed the accuracy in the previous chapter. What do you mean by accuracy? Accuracy, that is the how close a measured value with your true or actual value. We have discussed an example of the cricket. Suppose in a 6 ball, if you have to hit the middle stump, then how many times you are hitting the middle stump, that is known as accuracy. Suppose in a 10 reading, if out of 10 reading, if you are getting the same value 8 times and those particular values are very much near to your exact value, then we can say that it is the accurate reading, and this is known as the accuracy. Second one, that is the precision. Precision means how close your measured value with each other. Suppose in a over, if you have to hit a middle stump within a 6 ball, and if out of 6 ball you are hitting the leg stump in a 4 balls, then we can say that you are not accurate, because accuracy defines you are hitting the middle stump, but you are hitting the leg stump repetitively in a 4 times out of the 6 balls, then we can say that you are very much precise for your bowling. You are very much precise to hitting the leg stump instead of middle stump. So this is there is a very core line, or we can say there is a very thin line between the accuracy and precision, but you have to differentiate both the accuracy and precision properly. As the same example we have discussed in the previous chapter, that if an arrow and board system in the archery, if you are supposed to provide the 3 different arrows, and if your 3 arrows are spotted on the different position and they are very much far away to each other, as well as they are very much far away to the main center, they are very much far away to the exact, or we can say the true value, then we can say that this is not accurate, this is not precise. In the second case, if all the 3 arrows are hitting in some spot, though this particular spot is very much far away from the exact value, but all the arrows are hitting the same position repetitively, then we can say that you are precise but not accurate. Case number 3, if all the 3 arrows are hitting the different position and they are very much near to the exact value, they are very much near to the true value, but they are away from each other, then we can say that you are very much accurate but having low precision. And the last case, that all the 3 arrows are hitting the same position as well as they are approaching the exact value repetitively, then we can say that you are highly accurate and highly precise. So this is the basic concept of the accuracy and precision. Next one, that is the calibration. We have also discussed the calibration in the previous chapter. Calibration is a process of checking the accuracy of the measuring instrument, or calibration is a process of checking the dimensions or tolerance of the given gauge by comparing it with the standards or instrument or gauge having the higher accuracy. This is known as a calibration process. Suppose I have to calibrate the temperature scale. If I have to calibrate the thermometer, then what I am supposed to do? I will use another thermometer having the higher accuracy than the first one, and by attaching both the thermometer, if the preceding thermometer, or we can say if the higher accurate thermometer will measure the 100 degrees Celsius, then I will simply draw a line over the thermometer at which the mercury will stands. and this particular line will shows the 100 degree Celsius. And by putting the both the thermometer in the eye spot, and whatever the temperature has been read by the highly accurate thermometer, we are accepting those reading as a 0 degree Celsius, and we are marking that particular stand of the mercury as a 0 degree on the our basic working thermometer. And by making these particular two lines over the working thermometer, I can say that I have marked the 0 and 100 degree on the thermometer. By taking the 100 division of the thermometer, I can say that okay, this is the calibration process. The next one, that is a sensitivity. Sensitivity means it is the measure of the change in the instrument output when the quantity which is changed by some amount. First of all, we will discuss the sensitivity by taking the example. Suppose you have provided the two different scale, the scale A having the pointer over here, the scale B having the pointer over here. Suppose input is provided, I have provided the 10 as a input. The first scale will deflect to this position. This is the deflection of the scale A. The second scale will deflect to this position. So by checking these two value of the scale, I can say that this is the scale A and this is the scale B. This is B. Okay, so I can say that the scale B is highly sensitive as compared to scale A, because in the sensitivity, what we are supposed to measure, we are measuring the change of the instrumental output by providing some amount of the input. If I have provided the same amount of the input, and whatever the instrument what we are supposed to do, we are checking which instrument will change its output value drastically, then I can say that those particular instrument are known as a highly sensitive instrument. Those particular instrument are known as highly sensitive instrument. It is also defined as the ratio of change in the output of the instrument by changing the value of the quantity which is being measured. That is known as a sensitivity. The next one, that is the threshold, a very important aspect of the measurement, that is the threshold. When the input is gradually increased from the 0 value, a minimum value of that input which is required to detect the output is known as a threshold. Suppose a meter has to be provided, suppose a meter is provided to you and this is the 0 value. Now I am increasing my input as a 1, there is no deflection. This particular meter has a 0, 10, I can say 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. I have made a 100 division, but the basic limitation of this particular instrument is if the output is achieved to the 10, then and only then the pointer will deflect. If we are achieving the output as a 20, then and only then we are supposed to find a, or we can say we are supposed to detect the change in the position of the pointer. Once I will start to increase the input as a 1, 2, 3, so on up to 9. Once I will achieve the value of 9, still the pointer is located at the 0 position. By changing the value of 9 to 10, if I will provide the input as a 10, suddenly the pointer will change its original position, it will make a difference. Once you can detect this particular difference, the minimum value of the input, it means the minimum value is 10. The minimum value of the input from which we can detect the output, that then particular minimum value is known as a threshold value. So here, from starting with the 0 value, whatever the minimum value is required to make a proper change, to identify, or we can say to detect the output, that particular change is known as a threshold. The next one, that is the hysteresis. You have already learned the hysteresis in the physics, that the instrument is said to be having the hysteresis if it gives the different values depending on whether the measurement is taken from the lower side or higher side. The graph shows the hysteresis value. Suppose I will plot a horizontal line over here. I know this is not a proper horizontal line, but assume that this is the horizontal line having the value 10. Now if I am going to start the measurement, suppose this is the cycle of measurement, here the upward direction and here the downward direction. If I will start increasing the value and if I have to measure the value of horizontal 10, I will approach here. As from the figure you can check, by approaching this particular value you are supposed to find some different value over the scale. If I will start from the higher side and if I will measuring the same value over here, you are approaching the 10 over here, and if you are plotting the same value on the graph, you are supposed to find the different values. So I can say that if instrument having some sort of hysteresis, then depending on the measurement you are supposed to find the two different values, one from the higher side and one from the lower side. This is known as a hysteresis. Then the next characteristics is repeatability. As the name suggests, repeatability is the ability of the instrument to reproduce the group of measurement having the same measured quantity made by the same observer using the same instrument under the same condition. It means by providing the conditions, all the conditions as same, then how many times you can repeat, or we can say how many times you can reproduce the same measuring setups, or we can say how many times you can reproduce the same measurement. The ability of the instrument to produce some sort of reproduction of the same measurement is known as a repeatability. Second one, that is the reproducibility. Reproducibility means it is the closeness of the output reading with same input but changing in the method of measurement, changing in the observer, changing in the location, measuring instrument, or any kind of conditions is known as a reproducibility. Now let us discuss with the example. Suppose we have observer A. The same observer will going to measure the length of this particular line. So once the observer A has made the measurement, say the length of the line is 10 centimeter. After a certain time, the same observer with same condition, same measuring instrument and same unknown value, I can say same line, if he is going to measure the same line and if he will achieve again the value of 10, third time again value of 10, fourth time again the value of 10, number of time he will achieve the same value of 10, then we can say that the particular measuring characteristics is known as a repeatability. He can repeat the same measuring setup again and again and again. But suppose this particular line is being measured by person A with particular instrument with particular condition and he is getting the value of 10. Suppose this line will be measured by B with some different instrument, with some different condition, with some different timing, and he is again getting the same value of 10. By person C with the different parameters, and again he will getting the same value of 10. Then we can say that this particular characteristics is known as a reproducibility, and this is repeatability. Here repeatability concept, here the reproducibility concept. Okay. Then the next one, that is the loading effect. Loading effect means the incapability of the system to faithfully measure, or we can say record, or we can say control the input signals in the undistorted form. This is known as a loading effect. Suppose we are going to take a basic thermometer example. Here the pot filled with the water having the exactly 100 degree Celsius temperature. Once I will put a thermometer over here, thermometer has been placed. Just because of the heat diffraction, just because of the heat leakage, we can say that if the thermometer will getting the 100 joule of heat from the water, but due to the leakage in the environment, due to the leakage of the heat in the environment, the thermometer will get only 99.95, this is 99.95 joule of heat for the measurement purpose. So this 0.05 joule loss of heat due to any kind of mechanical component like friction, heat leakage, or whatever is available, this particular difference or this particular incapability of the instrument is known as a loading effect. The incapability of the system to faithfully measure, record, or control the input signal in the undistorted form. This is known as a loading effect. The next one, that is the linearity. Linearity means the maximum deviation of the instrument from the specific straight line applied to plot the calibration data. It means I can find the output is equal to input in the over a certain range. The particular graph shows the output value as well as input value, and you are supposed to find the proper linear concept. Once you will achieve the linear change in the output and input is known as a linearity approach, or we can say the instrument is a linear instrument. Then the next one, that is a resolution. Resolution means when the input is increased from the arbitrary value, we can say non-zero value, slowly output on the measuring instrument does not change until the certain increase has been made. The minimum increase is required to change the output is known as a resolution. The same case we have discussed in the threshold, but here we are going to change the position of the pointer. In the threshold we have started from the 0 value, now we are starting with the 10 value. Suppose the pointer is over here, the pointer is at the 10. Now we are increasing with the 10, 11, 12, 13, so on up to 19. We are not supposed to find any kind of change. Once the input is 20, the pointer will directly change the position over here. So this particular change in the input to identify the detection, we can say to detect the change in the position of the output is known as a resolution. Input is increased from the arbitrary value and we are increasing, keep on increasing until the output will not change, and once I can check the output, the minimum increase is required in the input. That particular change in the input is known as a resolution. The next one, range. Range is the region between the limits within which the instrument is designed to operate for the measurement, indication, recording the quantity. Suppose a human thermometer is designed for say -10 degree to 110 degree Celsius. So the range between these two values, we can measure the -10 degree, -9 degree up to 0 degree, then 1, 2, 3 up to 100 degree. So measurement of all these temperatures is possible because they are falling in the particular specific region in which we can measure, indicate or record the quantities. Then this particular region is known as a range. Next one, span. Span means the algebraic difference between the largest and the smallest reading of the instrument. Same example, 110 degree, that is the largest, minus -10 degree, that is the smallest value. So I can say that 110 plus 10, that means 120 degree. We can say that the span of my thermometer, that is the 120 degree itself. Next one, dead zone. Dead zone means the largest change in the input for which the instrument does not indicate any output is known as a dead zone. Suppose a table is placed and if you are applying the force over the table, till the table will not overcome the friction from the support, it will not start moving. So whatever the force, suppose 10 Newton force has been applied by you and still the table is not moving, you are not supposed to find any indication of output, you are not supposed to find any change in the position of the table, then this particular 10 Newton is known as a dead zone. Once I will achieve the 11 Newton, the table will start moving. So the value of 10 Newton is known as a dead zone. The largest change in the input, till then we are not supposed to find any indication for the output, is known as a dead zone. Then last one, that is a drift. Drift means change in the output without changing the input over a period of time. It means by the time, if I am not supposed to change in any input but still I will find the value, change value in the output, then this characteristics is known as a drift. Today we have discussed the static characteristics of the measurement. From the next lecture we are starting with the errors in the measurement and the upcoming topics. Till then, thank you.